The 6 Rich Dad Lessons That Can Transform Your Financial Future. Rich Dad, Poor Dad explained. 6 Wealth Lessons Everyone Should Learn. 6 Money Lessons from Rich Dad, Poor Dad that Still Work Today. The Rich Dad Mindset. 6 Financial Lessons That Build Wealth. 6 Wealth Principles from Rich Dad, Poor Dad You Need to Know Why. Rich Dad, Poor Dad changed how millions think about money. 6 Financial Habits the rich teach their kids early. The Rich Dad Formula. 6 Lessons for Building Real Wealth. What Rich Dad, Poor Dad Gets Right About Money. 6 Timeless Money Lessons from Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Your profession pays the bills. Your business builds your wealth. Kiyosaki argues that many people struggle financially because they spend their entire lives working to make someone else rich instead of building assets they own. To explain the difference, he shares the story of Ray Kroc, the businessman who transformed McDonald's into a global powerhouse. Kroc would often ask business students a simple question: what business am I really in? Most people answered, the hamburger business. His response surprised them. No, he would say, I'm in the real estate business. Yes, McDonald's sells burgers. But its true strength has always been owning or controlling the valuable land beneath thousands of restaurant locations. The burgers generate cash, but the real estate builds lasting wealth. That was Rich Dad's point. Keep your job if you need the income, but use that income to steadily buy real assets instead of accumulating liabilities. Purchase investments that generate cash flow, invest in dividend-paying companies, acquire rental properties, or build a business that can eventually operate without depending on your daily labor. Your business isn't your job title. It's the collection of assets you're building behind the scenes. When the income from those assets consistently covers your living expenses, you've achieved something far more valuable than a raise. You've gained financial freedom. The 4th lesson is about understanding taxes and the power of corporations. According to Rich Dad, building significant wealth requires more than working hard. It requires understanding how the financial system actually works. Kiyosaki writes that wealthy people don't necessarily play a different game. They simply understand the rules better. To illustrate the point, he discusses the history of income taxes in the United States. Federal income tax became permanent in 1913 and was initially promoted as a tax aimed primarily at the wealthy. Over time, however, it expanded to affect much of the population. Meanwhile, many successful business owners and investors legally used corporations to protect and grow their wealth. A corporation isn't simply a large company. It's a legal structure that creates different financial opportunities and responsibilities. Rich Dad explained one of the biggest differences this way. Employees generally earn income first, pay taxes, and then spend what's left. Business owners often earn income, pay legitimate business expenses, and then calculate taxes based on the remaining profit, following the rules established in the tax code. That means certain business-related costs, such as equipment, travel, office expenses, or other qualified operating expenses, may receive different tax treatment than personal spending. The lesson isn't about avoiding taxes. It's about understanding the financial rules that governments have created to encourage entrepreneurship, investment, and business growth. Financial intelligence means knowing how those rules work and making informed decisions within them. Lesson 5 is that the rich invent money. For most people, earning money begins and ends with collecting a paycheck. Rich Dad believed your greatest financial asset isn't your savings account or your investments. It's your mind. When it's trained to recognize opportunities, it can create wealth that others never notice. The wealthy don't simply wait for opportunities to appear. They learn how to create them. This isn't about taking reckless risks. It's about seeing possibilities where others only see obstacles. Imagine an old property that most people immediately dismiss. One person sees expensive repairs and walks away. Another sees hidden value, negotiates a better purchase price, improves the property, and creates equity through smart decisions. The opportunity already existed. The difference was how each person viewed it. Kiyosaki often says that success belongs not only to the smartest people, but to those willing to act when they recognize a good opportunity. Rich Dad also disliked the phrase, I can't afford it. He believed those words immediately shut down creative thinking. Instead, he encouraged asking a different question. How can I afford it? That simple shift forces your mind to search for solutions instead of excuses. Inventing money isn't magic. It's the habit of approaching problems with creativity, curiosity, and financial intelligence. The 6th lesson is to work to learn, not simply to earn. Poor Dad valued job security above almost everything else. Rich Dad valued learning above job security. That distinction shaped Robert's entire career. Rich Dad believed becoming highly specialized could become a weakness if your income depended on only one skill. Instead, he encouraged learning a broad range of abilities that work together: sales, marketing, communication, management, negotiation, leadership, and investing. Those skills create flexibility no matter how the economy changes. After leaving the military, Kiyosaki intentionally accepted a sales position at Xerox. It wasn't because sales was his dream career, it was because he feared rejection and wanted to master one of the most valuable business skills he could learn. Over time, he became comfortable hearing no, improved his communication skills, and gained firsthand experience in sales, marketing, and business operations. Those lessons ultimately became far more valuable than the paycheck itself. The skills that create financial success go far beyond technical knowledge. According to Rich Dad, the abilities that matter most are sales, marketing, communication, negotiation, and leadership. If you can communicate an idea clearly, influence people, and lead others toward a goal, you'll always have opportunities to create value. Traditional education often encourages specialization, but the marketplace tends to reward people who can connect ideas across different fields. The broader your skill set becomes, the more valuable you become. That's why Rich Dad encouraged Robert to think differently about his career. Sometimes accepting a lower-paying job that teaches an essential new skill can be one of the smartest financial decisions you'll ever make. A temporary drop in income is small compared to the lifetime value of stronger financial intelligence. But even after learning these principles, most people never achieve financial freedom. Rich Dad believed 5 common obstacles keep people from building wealth. The first is fear. Most people fear losing money more than they desire building wealth. Successful investors view mistakes as education. Everyone else treats them as permanent failures. The second obstacle is cynicism. Negative thinking convinces people that every opportunity is too risky or too good to be true. Instead of automatically dismissing opportunities, Rich Dad encouraged learning to analyze them carefully before making a decision. The third obstacle is laziness. This isn't necessarily about avoiding work. Often, it's the kind of busyness that leaves no time to improve your finances. People become so focused on earning income that they never stop to build wealth. Rich Dad believed a healthy amount of ambition could help overcome this. Instead of accepting the status quo, ask yourself, what's possible if I improve my financial future? Let that vision motivate consistent action. The fourth obstacle is bad financial habits. Many people receive their paycheck, immediately pay everyone else, and hope there's something left for themselves. Rich Dad taught the opposite approach. Pay yourself first. By consistently investing in your own future before increasing lifestyle spending, you're forced to become more disciplined and resourceful with the money that remains. The fifth obstacle is arrogance. Rich Dad believed overconfidence is one of the fastest ways to lose money because it prevents people from continuing to learn. Humility encourages curiosity. Arrogance convinces you that you already know enough. The greatest investors remain lifelong students because financial markets are always evolving. Ultimately, the lessons in Rich Dad, Poor Dad are about much more than becoming wealthy. They're about choosing how you want money to fit into your life. Will you spend your career working for money, or will you gradually build assets that allow money to begin working for you? Will you keep purchasing liabilities that create the appearance of wealth, or will you focus on acquiring assets that quietly create lasting financial freedom? Every one of those decisions begins with financial education. The more you understand how money works, the more control you gain over your future. These ideas aren't complicated. The real challenge is developing the mindset and discipline to apply them consistently over time. So here's the question: which lesson from Rich Dad, Poor Dad will you put into practice first? Share your answer in the comments below. And if you found these lessons valuable, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more practical breakdowns of the world's best books on money, investing, and building long-term wealth. Remember, your greatest financial asset isn't your paycheck or your portfolio. It's your mind. This is Finance Haven, where better financial ideas lead to better financial decisions, and better decisions shape a better future.